Good evening, everybody. A warm welcome to each one of you to the webinar organized by CGP Career Avenues titled Bag Your Dream Job, a national level webinar for engineering students. To begin with a few lines of Steve Jobs, your work is going to fill a large part of your life, and the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. All of you, the young budding engineers, are either looking for or will soon be searching for a well paid and creative job. And we believe this session will surely help you in your journey towards achieving a successful and rewarding career in future. Today, we have three eminent resource persons with us. Mr. Rohit Koshi, he is an alumni of IIT Delhi and IIM Kozhikode, consultant of a leading MNC, former head of campus recruitment team of Virtuosa. Also, we have Mr. Amit Sabu, India's #1 test prep guru, CAT topper, has prepared questions for NACTEC and for all top companies of various campus drives and competitive exams. Thirdly, we have Mr. Rajesh PS, Chief Operating Officer of Idzumo Private Limited and Chief Technology Officer of CGP Career Avenues. He has 27 years of corporate experience in India and abroad, and he has trained more than 50,000 students and professionals across the world. Without taking any more time, I invite the first speaker of today's session, Mr. Rajesh. Sir, please take over.
Thank you, Jinsi, and thank you. Welcome all dignitaries, and welcome all my dear students to the national webinar on your dream job. So I hope I am audible to you guys. Can somebody say yes or no, please? Can you put a message? Jinsi, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
Thank you. Thank
Yes,
you for
sir.
quick response. Okay, thank you. So let me share my screen. I have a small presentation for you guys. All right. So my screen is visible for you guys.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. Fine. And today's topic, as Jinsi mentioned in the beginning, it is bag your dream job. So I have a small, modification in that. Since you're looking for a job from the campus, so it is always a job. You are going to get through the campus. So it is campus to corporate is the topic. Maybe it is the other way around also. And as you know, this is conducted by CGP Career Avenues. India is one of the top companies in terms of GATE and placement coaching program. So today we will be explaining you the various methodologies adopted by different companies for campus recruitment, and what you are supposed to do if you want to get into a company through the campus placement, and the way you need to prepare for all these exams. And the eminent personalities with me will definitely give you an insight on this, and they will share their experience when they were working and they were serving some companies, and they were in their early stages of life also. So to start with, in few words, I'm not going to take much of your time. In to few words, what is a campus placement recruitment in short words? So I hope we have S4 and S8, S6 people are here. Majority of them are S4 and S6, where all those S6 people will be attending campus placements right from July. Once your university, maybe the second series exams are over, companies will come to your campus, and this process will continue till next June. And believe me, it is going to be a 1-year process where you'll be getting more than 5 to 10 opportunities to get into a company. And some of the people are very lucky to have multiple job offers through campus placements also. Campus placements is nothing. It is a process actually to source, to engage, or to hire youngsters, maybe the graduating people, to engage them for the entry level positions in their organization. And nowadays this is for internships also. I don't think I need to explain much about internships. And you know the process for internships also. You need to apply for that, for which you need to have a resume with you ready. You need to send your resume to the employer. So once they are convinced with your resume, they will call you for an interview. And in the interview, they will test your domain expertise. And if they are convinced, maybe you will be paid some stipend, or you may not get something also. And you are appointed as an intern for a shorter period of time. And once you complete the internship, you'll be provided with a certificate also. And some of the people are very lucky because they are coming back to the college with an offer letter. That is what you call pre-placement offer letter. And most of the top engineering colleges in India, we have a culture called pre-placement offer. The moment you complete your internship program, you are employed without any recruitment process. You don't need to go for interviews, GDs, aptitude test, technical test, nothing. So this is the process through which a student get a job or they are qualified for an internship. And to get ready for the job market, maybe to get ready for the campus recruitments, one should know why companies are recruiting people from the campus. And once you know it, it is half done. The things are pretty easy for you guys. Then you can plan it accordingly and you can prepare yourself for the upcoming placement drives. And the first reason companies why they are recruiting people is they're looking for fresh talents to join their new projects. Maybe a company has got a project and they need more people, workforce to work with them. So they go and visit a lot of colleges and campuses across India, maybe outside India also. And they recruit a lot of talents and they engage them, maybe they deploy them for their new projects. And that is one area. And the second one is they need more people to work for an existing project where they need to complete that project, maybe even before the deadline. Or the dimension of the project has taken a different, the project has taken a different dimension. So they need more talents to work with the existing project, with the existing team. And the most important thing, sometimes companies are looking for specific skills, people with specific skills. This is one area all the engineers out here, irrespective of their branch of study, need to concentrate on that. Put it this way, some of us, maybe some of our speakers might tell you some IT, but don't think that this entire scenario, maybe the seminar, maybe webinar is for IT industry. Put it this way, as everybody knows, lot of IT companies are involved in technical projects also, maybe engineering projects, where they expect a civil engineer to have some exposure towards IT also. For best example, put it this way, if you are joining in a drone company, a company which manufactures a drone, they expect a mechanical engineer to have some sort of IT exposure. They expect the electronics engineer to know the major part of IT, and they expect the electrical engineer also to have some exposure in IT also. So nowadays, nobody can live without IT. So all are in a world where everything is, even the webinar is also an example for, can you please put your mic on mute? Okay, a good example. Jinsi, can you make all mute? Okay, this is one best example that the webinar, maybe the seminar hall is also, it is something related to IT now. So all are sitting back at home. So everything is happening online. Okay, so that is the only reason I said people, they are looking for some specific skills. Maybe some civil engineer with IT, maybe some electrical engineers with some electronics, exposure. Because 10, 20 years back, a car was just a car. It was a piece of metal pieces. And the best example for the third sentence I've written, nowadays, a car is a mechatronics one. A mechanical engineer should know how we can connect all those electronics engineering with this mechanical engineer. So sometimes companies look for specific skills also, guys. So this is why a campus placement happens, through which you get into a company, maybe a corporate. And there are a lot of ways companies recruit fresh talents, maybe youngsters, maybe graduating people, whether it is a campus placement, maybe it is a pool drive where one company will ask everybody to come to a common place, where a college is going to host a particular drive, and this college will attract, maybe invite a lot of other colleges also. And or you're going to a job fair, wherever you go, the only purpose of recruitment is to attract and retain bright students and new grad talents with that company. Whether you are getting placed through the campus or you are joining some training organization, you get trained and you go and attend placement drives. The ultimate aim of recruitment is to get good students, quality students, to attract quality employees, to the company. So with this, I stop here and I welcome, I'm so proud to welcome Rohit sir. Rohit sir. Rohit sir, are you ready, sir?
Hi, good evening. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, you are very much audible, sir. So thank you, students, and thank you, Rohit sir, join us. And we have great pleasure and privilege to have someone like you on board. And I'm so sure all the participants gathered out here is going to benefit to the fullest. And please listen to Rohit sir, guys. Thank you. And bye for now.
Yeah. So, hi, thank you for this opportunity. Thanks, Amit, and all the others. So like you, I'm a fellow Keralite, but a slight change. I moved to Delhi when I was in 10th. And then I went to IIT Delhi. And then people think that, okay, you go to IIT, your life is made. But let me tell you at the beginning itself, it took me 18 years to get into my dream job, a job which values all my skills and all my talents. And life was a struggle pretty much over the last almost 20 years, right, or 25 years odd. Before that. So getting into a good college is not the end of the journey, it's the beginning of a journey, right? And so like everyone else, I went to IIT, I did a lot of extracurricular activities, bit of student politics, and I graduated with a grade which was like less than 50%. So yes, obviously, no, I didn't get a job from campus. I had to hustle a lot. And we didn't have internet when I graduated, right? So we had to physically go meet companies, go to the reception with printed CVs, meet the HR, give them CV, convince them to take an interview, all of that. Instead of that, I got a dream job in a manufacturing company where I was doing a marketing job. And this is not sales. So a lot of people think that marketing is about creating ads and all of that. But when they go to a marketing job, they realize that they have to go and sell the product first. So thankfully, I didn't have to do that, but I learned how to do market research, new product development, all of that. I did a few startups, nothing succeeded. Then I worked in corporate, but I got stuck into a recruitment area. So I enjoyed doing campus recruitment, but the rest of it was not very enjoyable. So I took the CAT. In fact, I had to take the CAT 6 times because my graduation marks were very low. But thanks to Amit sir, I finally got into IIM Kozhikode, where I majored in finance, got a job in L&T, and did well there. But then again, the next 7 years, I did about 4-5 startups, which again was a struggle. And I finally got into EY, where all my past experience was finally taken into account. And I got a good position and decent salary, good salary, and a good team. So it's not like you're in college and now there's a placement team and you'll get a job and everything. We have to work hard for everything. Even in IIM, I got placed on the last day because I had 5-6 years work ex. And so normally if you want to go into finance, people don't take you if you have more than 2-3 years. So I had to struggle a lot for that. Now, I'll tell you 2 things, what helped me get into my dream jobs. So one was definitely my general awareness. So I read the newspaper, I know what's aware in the world. I didn't get into these companies because of my technical skills, right? Because if you look at my grades in IIT, it was like less than 50%. So technically I didn't know much, but I knew enough in the relevant courses. So I got into a garment company. It was a manufacturing company. It was a chemicals company for garments. And I had done very well in my garment course. So at least one little bit of my course I knew very well, right? And also I had taken part, organized college festivals and all of that. So my people skills, my management skills had fairly evolved in the 3-4 years that I was at IIT, right? So that helped me in my conversations with the MD of the company. So I had applied to somebody else. MD saw my CV, called me for an interview. So being aware of what's happening in the world, can you, converse with the person in front of you confidently, right? And will that person want to work with you, right? That is the main thing. So if you know C++, Java, all of that, it still doesn't help if you don't know how to code, right? So when I was in Virtusa, and before that, when I was in FutureSoft, which is today Capgemini, we used to go to colleges. I used to do campus recruitment, and we used to go to good colleges. Students who had 80%, 90% in their graduation, computer science, final year students. I asked them, how many lines of code have you written? They would say 100 lines, 200 lines. And I would tell them, in IIT, every semester I've done at least few thousand lines of code, right? So bottom line is, if you want to get into a software job, get some experience of coding. Now you will say, I don't have any internship experience. I don't know anybody who will teach me coding. In IIT, the professor would say, this is the assignment. You can do it in C++, you can do it in C, you can do it in Java. Do whatever language you want. And we had to take the books. We had, and we didn't have internet again at that time. So today, at least you have all the journals, you have all the online YouTube tutorials, everything, and Udemy and all those courses. But today, in our time, we had to take the book, we had to go sit in the computer lab, we had to code, learn on our own. Nobody taught us coding, right? So it's all about the initiative. So I think people who take the initiative, people who learn on their own, they eventually do well. People who wait for spoon feeding, or people who say, train me on this, or I don't have this, I don't have that, they will get slightly left behind on the way. Right. So today the market is very competitive. People are hiring for skills, all of that. So you still have 1 to 2 years. My request would be, pick up some coding assignments. It could even be like you build an app for your college, how to streamline the mess, how to allocate books. So there are a lot of use cases in the college. I'll give you a small example. When I was in IIM Kozhikode, we used to have, so we didn't have too many restaurants outside the campus. And the Kozhikode city was about 10, 12 kilometers away. So we would have one person who was designated as class coordinator for ordering food from a restaurant, from Chiking, which is a restaurant. And all of us would give him our orders, and he would place one order on behalf of the whole college, some 20, 30, 40 orders. And that order would get consolidated, and the Chiking delivery guy would come to his room with all those orders, and he would then call all of us, and we would come with the money and buy the order. Right. So somebody took that initiative. Today, we have something called Bhook Lagi, which is an app which is built by students of the college. And every year when those students graduate, they pass it on to the next batch. So it's again the same thing. Instead of sending a message to the person, you just use the app and pick the restaurant and make an order, and the restaurant will come and deliver to you. This is like within a maybe 10-kilometer radius. So if you look around you, there are so many problems that can be solved. Another problem, another area where you can work on. So all the IAS officers, IPS officers in the state, all of them need help in data crunching, in developing small apps, power apps, all of that. Go to Mir Mohammed. He is the head of the Suchitwa mission in Kochi. He's a great guy, active social media. Tell him, sir, how can I help solve the waste problem in Kochi, right? And he will sit with you. He'll create. You can create some system, some online tech, all of that, right? So there are always avenues to to get such projects, to learn coding, especially. And for those who are not interested in coding, yes, I was also not interested in coding. Well, I was a good coder, but I was ambivalent. And luckily, I got this factory job. And factory job, again, it's all about eye for detail. Are you able to understand everything? So everybody need to be learning very quickly, right? So when I was in school, in 11th standard, we learned BASIC. In 12th, we learned Pascal. Today, in 11th and 12th, they teach C++. Or I think they teach Python now, right? So the technology keeps changing every year. If you're into coding, every 2-3 years, some new technology comes, and the company will expect you to learn the new technology. Otherwise, they'll ask you to leave, right? So it's very important that you learn. Companies know that you may not have enough skills, but at least if you have the learning ability and you can demonstrate that in the interview, that is one reason for companies to take you. Bottom line is, companies will take you if they feel that you gel with the culture, you have the right communication skills, you can put your points across, and you have basic learnability and basic level of skills. And how to do those skills, again, it's in your hands. Do some small projects, go meet the district officials, become some projects, or walk into any of these IT parks and offer to do some projects. Right. So these are my thoughts, and I'm open to questions at the end of the session. Yeah, over to you, Amit or Rajesh.
Thanks, Rohit. In fact, I have a lot of questions to ask you, but we'll wait for the end of the session before the students start asking questions. So yeah, hi everybody. My name is Amit, and I've been working with a large number of companies in India. Started way back in around 2001, 2002 when campus recruitment started taking off. My first client was ICICI Bank, and I developed some question banks for them. Then worked with Cognizant, worked with Wipro, worked with a large number of firms in India. And the tests that they take to campus for hiring, it could be an aptitude test, it could be a technical test. We used to design that. Over a period of time, a good number of assessment companies came in independently. So you had a Merit Track, you had a whole lot of other organizations which came into the market space. And we started providing content to those firms as well. There was a period of time when I remember more than about 20 to 25% of the recruitment around the country in engineering colleges used to be done on tests created by my team. Around 2003, 2004, we started working with colleges as well. And that was a period of time when colleges were just about starting to understand the importance of campus recruitment and how if they could get their students placed, then they would be able to attract better quality students as well. So colleges started focusing a lot more on training their skills, and it was no more about semester academics. It was a decent amount of effort being also given towards the campus recruitment. And we worked with colleges which at that point of time probably got 15 or 20% of their students placed. And in a couple of years, with some effort, with some planned approaches, we started taking those colleges to 60, 70, 80% of the eligible students getting placed. So it's been an interesting experience for us. And it's almost 20 years now. We are amongst the largest designer of assessment tests in the country, both technical as well as non-technical. You name the field of science or engineering. If you want something in nuclear physics, if you want something in agriculture, if you want something on Ruby on Rails, my team designs that particular content. We design not only for campus recruitment. I think bulk of our assessments that we now create is for companies internally, where they want to figure out for the internal employees what are the kind of training needs do they have, or what kind of gaps are there in their knowledge. So that's the experience with which I bring to the table, and I would be sharing some insights with you guys. I think the first thing that I would like to state to all of you is do not take campus recruitment lightly. I would probably put it this way, that almost as important as your graduation is, your semester marks are, campus, your first job is as important. And your best chance of getting a job, your first job, is going to be from campus. Trust me, after you finish your engineering and you're going to be out of the college, it becomes at least 10 times more difficult to get a job than while you are in college. Now, secondly, I can understand that there are in some colleges a large number of companies coming in, so students get multiple opportunities. There are colleges which are able to attract a large number of core companies. There are colleges which are able to offer dream jobs to students as well. But then there are a set of colleges where you probably would just have a few companies coming in and maybe one or two large recruiters coming in. From a campus recruitment perspective, the second most important point that I would like to make, the first being take campus recruitment as seriously or more seriously than your graduation examination. The second point that I would like to make is be very, very well prepared even before the first company comes in, because typically the first company which comes on campus is likely to be the big recruiter, the large volumes recruiter. And if you look at it in a large number of colleges, between 2 or 3 or 4 companies, it could be a TCS, Infy, Accenture, IBM, all the big boys, they will probably account for 60, 70, 80% of the students getting placed. So if you are not prepared and these companies come and go, your chances of getting placed come down to some extent. So I would suggest that look at campus recruitment very, very seriously and start getting prepared uh, with a level of passion that you keep for any other important job in your life. The next thing that I would like to tell you is, uh, given the kind of world that we are living in today, where a lot of things have moved online, uh, the campus recruitment scenario is also changing. We do not know what is going to be for this year. Next year, thankfully, we still have a little bit of time, so we'll get clarity later. But uh, a few things that we are noticing from the campuses. A, the companies are looking at a little more depth from students in the initial assessment test that they conduct. So typically, the procedure of the companies is like this. They have a aptitude test. Most of the companies, there are always some exceptions. So they have an aptitude test, and they have a interview, which could be a combination of a technical and an HR interview. Some companies also conduct a technical test. Some companies also conduct some kind of a coding slash hackathon kind of a session as well. Some companies conduct group discussions. Some companies conduct presentations. So you will have these few companies which do multiple things. Some companies may do a pure technical interview separate and HR interview separate. But by and large, I think more or less almost all the companies are definitely going to do an aptitude test and a HR technical interview. So these two are the things that you have to be definitely well prepared for. One thing that we are seeing in technical tests is uh, quite a few of the companies. For example, Infosys. Earlier, we used to have a scenario where there used to be a requirement of a particular test score being achieved. And if you managed to meet that cutoff, then you went into the next round. But some of the companies have started saying we need to also have sectional cutoffs, which means that you need to demonstrate some level of competency in mathematics, some level of competency in English, and so on. So you cannot say, okay, I'm going to prepare for 2 subject types and I'm going to not work on the third type. I think a bare minimum requirement and effort has to be put into all the types of questions which come in the aptitude test. Uh, and it is not very difficult. You know, aptitude is something that all of us have. Uh, it's primarily comprising supposedly 9th and 10th standard mathematics as far as aptitude is concerned, the mathematical portion is concerned. And then there is some little bit of reading comprehension, some little bit of grammar and vocabulary. A fair amount of logic is being used. Some companies throw in puzzles or some visual reasoning kind of questions as well. Rarely any GK is asked. I don't remember too many IT companies actually asking GK, or for that matter, even non-IT companies, at least for engineering students, they do not ask GK. So you have these as the core components. Earlier, when campus recruitment started off, people used to prepare from a book called as R.S. Agarwal, which is pretty popular. Still, quite a few companies' assessment tests are of the level of difficulty of R.S. Agarwal. But over a period of time, the level of difficulty has gone up because the quality of students has kept increasing. You know, when everybody prepares, then the level of difficulty, the cutoffs start increasing. So what the companies also do is they say, okay, now students are coming prepared, we can increase the quality of the test, and it also reflects very well on the company as well. So the level of difficulty has started increasing to some extent. So you will have a few companies like a TCS or an Infosys whose paper patterns are very standardized and of very good quality. There are a whole lot of companies which are like that. Many of the companies have very strong technical tests as well. But to a large extent, I would say that yes, the preparation for the aptitude test, I would say, occupies 60 to 70% mind space of the students, and it requires a fair amount of time and effort. Uh, Here, I would like to add a couple of things. The mathematics and the logic part, given the fact that all of your engineers, I don't think you'll find it very difficult, but you need to put in a fair amount of effort because aptitude improves by practice. So, and if you put in effort now, and if you do not again practice for a couple of months, your aptitude will start coming down. Both Rohit and I have a 99 percentile in CAT, so we both know how this entire thing works, and both of us have taught students for CAT. So we know what it is about as far as aptitude tests is concerned. So prepare for aptitude now and keep in touch till the time you have the job that you are looking for, and keep working on all the areas. Uh, the second thing which comes, I think, is the English part, where a lot of students struggle. Now, English could be two parts. It could be vocabulary and grammar, where I would say that if you have not improved your vocabulary and grammar in the last 17, 18 years of your life, it's going to be a little difficult to do it in the next 2, 3 months. But I also understand that there are some students who are there in their second year. I can give them a simple suggestion. You don't need to pick up a Renan Martin or a grammar book or a Norman Lewis Word Power Made Easy kind of a book. You can do that, wonderful. A simple fact of reading your newspapers every day goes a great way in improving your English as well as your knowledge, as long as the paper that you read is of good quality. So, maybe if you're reading a Times of India, shift to a Hindu, and that's a good newspaper. I can see Rohit totally agreeing with me because that's what both of us have done all our life. And read a good quality newspaper, your English will significantly improve. You'll be able to handle vocabulary, you'll be able to handle grammar. More importantly, if you have reading comprehension type of questions or any other English reasoning kind of questions, you'll be able to do. For the students who might be facing campus recruitment in the next 2 or 3 months, at least get to know the standard grammatical errors which are there, because that is what is likely to get asked first. And typically, don't go for something like the GRE word list, which is very, very heavy duty words. The aptitude tests of companies in India, they are not going to be testing those kind of words. It will be far more simpler words. So just whatever you are coming across in your daily life, if you're able to pick up those words, that is good enough. Or any other good study material that you have to prepare for campus recruitment, they will guide you to the kind of words which are there. But yes, in the English portion, if you practice on reading comprehension, if you practice on the logic behind fill in the blank kind of questions, those are questions which you can even improve in about 15 to 20 days or 30 days of practice. So if your English is not so good and you have your campus recruitment starting in a couple of months' time, I would suggest definitely focus on topics like reading comprehension and the rest of the types which are non-vocabulary oriented. Okay. New question types are also coming in. You have the multiple choice questions, which are the standard question types. But some of these companies are also asking you now something called as multiple selection questions, which means not one, but 2 or 3 options may be correct. And if you do not take all the correct options, you do not get a mark for it. So this brings into importance the fact that you need to be prepared for the pattern of a particular company. If you know that an XYZ company is coming in for recruitment, make sure you have prepared based upon the pattern of that particular company's paper. Now, this is one part of my entire story. The second part that I would like to talk to you about is it really possible to prepare in a couple of months' time? Okay, I'll just give you a very short story of one particular student that I remember. This was in a place called as Belagaum in North Karnataka. And it is when we started doing the campus recruitment that the boy woke up to the importance of preparing for something like this. and the companies were supposed to be coming in 10 or 15 days later. So by the time the company 1 came and the company 2nd came and the company 3rd came, because he was a little behind schedule of that particular level of aptitude which is required, he could not crack those companies' tests, and he kept seeing his friends around him getting placed in those companies. 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and to a large extent, the bulk of the companies which were coming in, they had come and gone, and a large number of his friends had got placed. But he did not stop his preparation. He continuously kept doing his preparation. And trust me, uh, companies typically come in the 7th semester. In the 8th semester, hardly any companies come. So he did not get an opportunity in the 8th semester as well, but he kept preparing for his tests. As soon as he got out of campus, one particular company was conducting a test in Bangalore, and he went for that particular test and he got a job. Now, the important thing here is the job that he got was in a much better company than all of his friends had got. It was at a much higher pay than all of his friends had got. And the reason he attributes for his success is he did not stop until he had got a job. And I think that is an important lesson that we have to learn. Some of us are going to succeed early. Some of us are going to take some time to succeed, but we cannot let go of the effort that we are going to be putting in continuously. That is going to be a key requirement. Opportunities will come. For some people, 3 months, some people 6 months. There are people who have taken, almost out of campus, they have struggled for 6 months or a year. But then they have kept trying and they have been able to get the opportunities. They have to try different strategies. In the market, there are always opportunities for people with skills. And you may not have that skill today, but I'm sure in 3 months, 6 months, 1 year down the line, you'll be able to acquire those skills to be able to ace that particular company. So that's the second thing that I would like to explain to you. In today's time, when it is far more competitive, so let's assume that you have passed the aptitude test part. The second part is going to be the interviews. Now, if you've got a good personality, if you've got good confidence, if you've got good communication skills, life becomes that much easier, because it is very easy for you to articulate, to explain your point of view to others, and people like to have a conversation with you. You're able to have a conversation. But when I have gone to campuses, what I noticed was, I would probably put it this way, anywhere from 30 to 70 or 80% of the students, the minute they had visits from the corporate sector people, they were not as fluent. They could think in their mother tongue. They could probably communicate very fluently in their mother tongue, but the minute it had to happen in the language of the corporate world, which is English, they were having a difficulty. And just because they also realized that English was not very fluent, they did not have that level of fluency in English, their confidence level kept coming down. Please understand that English is not the be all and end all of things, although it is important. Okay. If you're unable to communicate very well in English, it is fine. Just be honest and sincere during the interview. Sir, I've not got that much of exposure in English. You can give them your background, and say ki, as far as technical knowledge is concerned, I'm pretty well equipped, and as far as English is concerned, it doesn't come naturally to me. So yes, I'm happy to answer questions in English as much as possible, but the fluency may not be there. Just pardon you for that. But if they are okay, can you have a conversation or a response? You can respond to their questions in some other language as well. They are most likely to deny you, saying that, no, let's prefer it in English, but at least they will understand one thing, that you're a confident person who, just like you have picked up engineering, just like you have picked up some IT skills, or just like you have picked up some XYZ skill, you can also pick up English given the right environment. And typically, if you're going to be working in any company, everybody's going to be speaking English in that environment. You're likely to go to a city like a Trivandrum or a Bangalore or a Hyderabad or out of India, where everybody's speaking in English. And trust me, in 3 to 6 months time, there's going to be a drastic transformation of your personality. Okay. So don't get too hassled because you cannot speak good English. At the same point of time, that doesn't give you the right to say, therefore, I will not work on it. Start working on it right now so that you can keep showing some improvement. And maybe 2 months down the line, you may be better off than what you are here at this point of time. So that's something that I would like to talk to you about. If you have any weaknesses or if you do not have too much of stuff to show on your CV, uh, do try to build your CV to some extent. So as Rohit was mentioning, doing some kind of projects always helps. Uh, if projects around you are not that possible, also given the fact that we all are in a lockdown kind of a state and there's not too much of social interaction happening, see what kind of online projects you can do. Simple things that you can do is maybe being involved with something to do with the society, where there are lots of online groups which are there, some counseling activities that you could be doing. I can just give an example of what my wife is doing. uh, she is trying to help an NGO which is into suicide prevention. Okay, so she's doing it out from home, where she is talking to people who may be suicidal, and she's trying to help them in whatever way she can. Okay, now obviously she is equipped with those skills. She has received training to do this kind of stuff. But there are a large number of NGOs in the country, and many of them are operating from uh, home offices. So speak to people around you, speak to your uncles, your aunts, your parents, etc., and see if they can connect you to somebody who can probably uh, put you in some kind of a forum, in some kind of a NGO or something, where you're able to contribute in some way and talk about that in the interview. Uh, and just doing one thing is not going to be sufficient. Please don't think that, okay, I just need to do one thing. Try to do multiple things, because you do not know which of those multiple things, if you have got 3 or 4 things to show on your resume, which of those multiple things might be of interest to your interviewer, and he starts asking some questions on that. uh, so I can give you a lot of examples of stuff that my students have done in the past. One simple example, this was of course quite a few years ago, was one of my students developed an interest in microlight plane flying. So from Bangalore, he used to go to Mysore, and he used to do a couple of sorties in a microlight plane. Uh, he just knew the basics. I mean, he would have probably spent all of 15 or 20 hours on this entire experience of his, but he did mention it in his resume. And it so happened that the interviewer got interested in that, and they started having a conversation. And because this person knew a decent amount of stuff about that particular field, the conversation was that much more easier. So what Rohit said, companies are looking for people with whom they can have a conversation. Yes, technical skills are required, but these are the kind of people skills that companies are going to be looking for. So see if you can build your CV in any way. Have a decent LinkedIn profile. Please don't copy your CV. Don't copy the standard what do you say, the beginning salutation, that your objective that you have, etc. You don't have to write it, and if you write it, please think about it and write it yourself. Don't do a cut copy paste job of all of those things. The final thing that I would like to talk about is interviews. Uh, we have already touched on quite a few points in the interview, but interview is largely going to be based upon what is written in your CV and what you have learned in your college. So make sure all the subjects that you know very well, you do mention them as your key subjects, and you do brush up on them. Uh, there are two types of interviews which happen. One is where a particular person, the interviewer, asks you one question, and then based upon your response, he keeps funneling down and goes deeper and deeper into that particular concept. So you're required to show that you just do not know a subject upar say, you also know something a little inside. And the other is where they ask you 3 or 4 or 5 different questions on a particular topic. So when you're preparing for an interview, try to do a good reading of the books that you have. preparation for an examination like GATE would really help you in this scenario, because GATE is a technical examination and it requires you to have a good experience. So when you prepare for GATE, you're preparing for all your concepts at a good level. So even if you do not crack GATE, but if you prepare seriously for GATE, it will significantly help you in your interviews with companies. So that part will be taken care of. Okay. Uh, what else do I want to talk about? Okay. So I think this is we will largely stick to this much, and all I can tell you is from my experience, we have seen there are a set of us who will easily get jobs, and they will put in their preparation and everything will go right for them. But there are a lot of us who will need all the support and effort of people around, and of our faculty and of all kinds of resources. Don't have a view that you're fighting the world yourself. If you have a problem, reach out to people, reach out to friends, reach out to your faculty, reach out to your trainers or so on, whoever are there. Okay. And make sure you learn from them. Typically, people with less experience will have half-baked knowledge. So if you're going to ask your seniors, or if you're going to ask your friends, etc., how to prepare for this, how to prepare for that, they will do what they did. They will tell you what they did, and it might have worked for them. It might not work for you. It's always advisable that you try to get all the information about all of this from far more experienced people. So that's my one advice to everybody. Uh, Rohit, if you'd like to add anything here, or we can, or maybe.
No, I'd rather take questions. I think you covered most of what is important. But I like your point saying that if you prepare for GATE, you're ready for your technical interviews, because yes, it covers most of your subjects. And especially if you're looking for a core job, I think it's very important.
And do mock interviews, do mock tests. You have to keep doing all of those things for the next 2, 3, 4 months until you get a job. Yeah. And for your people who are still 1 year away from the job cycle, then you've got that much more time, but don't wait. Right now, all of you are enjoying the lockdown. So use this particular time to prepare for all of these things, because I'm sure after the lockdown, all of you are going to be more focused on trying to connect back with people and have some fun. And it should not happen that in all that fun, the learning is forgotten, and then you realize a little too late. So make sure that the current time which is there, where all of us have a little more time on our hand, you use it profitably.
I had one point to make. So there is a third category of companies. So you have your IT companies, you have your core companies, and you have something called consulting, which is where I work. And in Kochi, we have companies like EY, GDS, which are again hiring in large numbers. And again, consulting hires freshers, they hire smart freshers. And the only thing they need is people who can communicate well, and people who are well read. So if you are interested in consulting, and you can Google what these companies do, go to their websites. You have EY, you have KPMG, you have so many companies. If you read a lot of business books and try to solve some case studies, that's a very good setup for getting into the consulting industry. So consulting encompasses both tech and core. So that's a third option which a lot of you can consider.
Also, core companies require very high level of technical competency. So a lot of people would be looking for core sector jobs. I remember one chemical adhesives company that we worked with, and they were very choosy about the kind of talent they had. They paid upwards of 12 lakhs, and this is about 3 or 4 years ago. But when they went to a pooled campus drive involving 300, 400 students, they would probably hire only 2 or 3 or 4 students. So uh, core sector jobs are lesser in number to a large extent, but the quality of work, if you are interested in that particular field, is very, very rich, very, very good. The pay is very, very good. Not necessarily in all the domains when you start off. So maybe a chemical pay will pay well, some other domain will pay well, aerospace will pay well, but a civil, a mechanical, or a biotech will not pay well initially, because they require experience. And once you have 3, 4, 5, 6 years of experience, that is when you start getting better quality pays as well. So don't run only after pay. If you are interested in a core sector job, please go after that. Whichever be your field, go after that. Understand that the job may be on the shop floor, the job may be on not in air conditioned environments, but then that's the sector that you have chosen. And if you stick in those sectors, given a period of time, if you're good at it, money is always going to be there for the taking. So money is never a problem for a good quality resource person. Yeah. Rajesh sir, you would like to take it from here?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for such an insight. And Rohit sir and Amit sir, the importance of, to keep updated about all those things, and the importance of preparations for all those placement drives and competitive exams, and the importance of running away from all those lackadaisical approaches, which can take you, to a different dimension where you'll end up with nothing. So the point is, let me sum up the lectures given by Amit sir and Rohit sir. People gathered out here, please understand one thing. The very point, please don't take things for granted. Please don't consider that I'm going to get a second chance. No, always the best chance is your first chance. So once you're student, once your friends are placed, then you will realize that it was my best chance also to get into those companies, because my friend has also cracked that exam and he has got the offer letter, and he's in such a joyful atmosphere that he's very happy, he's enjoying his life. And where I have lost that opportunity and I'm yet to crack a job, maybe crack a placement drive and get into these companies, please avoid all those situations. Please focus on your subjects, which is really required for whether it is an IT company, maybe your core company. Please focus on all those topics, and please try to improve your language. It is not necessary that you should speak fast. It is not said that you should speak very slow also. You should have a moderate speed. That means language and communication, these are two things. Once, like Amit sir said, with even little knowledge of your language, you can communicate very well. Just like Rohit sir said also. Try to convince, maybe try to communicate in an effective manner. Make the employer understand and what you are capable of. Then the things are pretty easy. So I'll thank you, Amit sir, and thank you, Rohit sir, for spending such long time with us. And guys, you can shoot the questions towards the end. The dignitaries will be with us till the end. Now, let me show you something also where I will explain you about the procedures and process through which you will go through once a company comes for a campus placements. And
So we'll have the chat option, I guess, available for the students to ask questions.
Yes, sir. Okay. On the right side, top corner of the bottom corner of your screen, you have a more option there, and there is option to chat. And towards the end, we will take questions one by one, sir.
Sure.
All right. Okay. So let me take it from where I've left. So let me continue with the PPT, where I'll explain you what are the procedures and what you should be thorough with, and which all areas you need to focus in order to crack the placements and get into the companies. So let me So guys, when you go for a placement, the first process would be initial screening, like Amit sir said, like aptitude test. And the company will inform you about their placement process and recruitment process. And once you apply, you will be informed about the date of their exam. And once you go for this particular drive, the first, as Amit sir and Rohit had said, most of the time it starts with an aptitude test. Aptitude test comprises of 4 modules. The first module is quantitative aptitude. That is your mathematics, which you learn from your 4th or 5th standard till your 10th standard. It is nothing but the ratio, proportion, averages, LCM, HCF, all those basics thing. Because an engineer should be aware of mathematics and all those problem solving skills. And wherever you go across the world, even for a GRE test or for a PSC test or for a civil service exam, you have the aptitude test. And believe me, the topics and subjects which ask for all the aptitude tests around the world, it remains to be the same. So to start with, you have a session with aptitude, quantitative aptitude, that is mathematics. You have logical and arithmetic reasoning. You have verbal ability and English usage. And sometime that company might ask you some questions along with that written, maybe online exam, some branch related technical modules. If it is an IT company, they might ask you a couple of questions from your coding skills and your programming skills and your, concept skills, all those things. And when it comes to a production or a manufacturing and product-based company, they will ask you some, very important things which you have learned from your S3, maybe S1 till S8, in order to ensure that you are kind of a person who is, well into the technical side. And like, sorry, Amit sir said, sometimes it is out of 100, maybe if you score 65%, you clear the exam. And sometimes company will ask you to score a decent minimum amount of marks in quant, in logical reasoning, in verbal ability, and in your technical modules, and put it together. It should be 65% and more. And you should score 65% each for each module. That means if the, there are 30 questions for quantitative abilities, that is mathematics. In order to clear that exam, you should score at least like 20 marks. That is 60 or maybe 18 to 20 marks you should score in order to clear that amount. Clear that exam. So once you clear the aptitude test, there are good chances. Maybe during this lockdown period, many people have avoided this group discussion, maybe presentation skills, which is through which they assess your team player skills and convincing skills. You can call it as a GD or a presentation process where they will give you a topic to present. You need to prepare, and it is a kind of a seminar presentation, something like that. And you need to explain why, what, when, all those things in the online method, maybe in the classroom where you are going for a group discussion, maybe presentation. And once you clear this group discussion, most of the time you guys are put for a technical interview where your domain skill are tested. Whether you are a civil engineer or a mechanical engineer, maybe an IT engineer, maybe electrical engineer, chemical engineer, triple engineer, what all things you have learned, maybe the main topics, you will be tested for all the understandings and your basics. So once you clear the third round also, then comes an HR interview where your personality assessment happens. Most of the time it is technical and HR, but nowadays it is technical plus HR because one person will handle both the rounds. Maybe in the where we used to have a classroom, maybe the physical things happen. Some of the companies will have two people sitting in different tables, maybe two people sitting together. Each one of them will be dealing with different topics. And after that, you will be issued with the results, and the results are out. But important rule there. The dress code, the kind of pen you are going to carry, the shoes you wear, the watch you wear, and the belt, even the belt and its buckle. It plays a very major role. Please don't go to the interview hall in a shabby mood, because the company representatives are coming to the interview hall, maybe visit your campus in a very decent manner, because they know how to respect your campus and how to respect a candidate like you. If they are ready to respect you in that manner, you are also ought to respect, to show your respect towards them in a very decent manner. Always think whether you have whether you know 100 things under the sun, you are a technical savvy, you know everything under the sun. But when you go for this placement process, always think that they are all well experienced and you are just a beginner. They have come through a lot of processes which made them sharp, and we are just about to start the life. So always keep a very good attitude You might have heard your attitude determines your altitude. So you should have a very good attitude and a very good dress sense. And even you should carry all the documents and everything. And in recent days, one thing you should understand and keep in mind, the things you should remember when you go for an online interview, maybe online test. Put it this way, I mean, you have cleared the aptitude test and you're selected for the interview. And the company will send you a notification, maybe mail carrying the, interview link. And before you click that particular link, or even before you think about clicking that particular link, make sure you are sitting in a very calm and decent place. You have your battery, a laptop charged completely. You have pretty good internet connectivity and a cool atmosphere there. Please don't, sit, in the roadside and take the interview. So please make sure you are sitting in a very calm, cool area with good connectivity, and make sure your computer is charged, maybe laptop. Maybe you should make sure the power supply of your desktop, and you should show your respect towards them and be prepared for them. Prepared. And when you answer, to the interviewer, please always try to look at the face, maybe at the eye, into the eyes of the interviewer also, whether you are going for online process or physical process. So once you're clear all these things, then you will be offered with your appointment letter, or you can call your offer letter. And once you get the offer letter, you are into a new life called your professional life, and then you can take it from there. So everybody, all the speakers were talking about the importance of coaching program also. Maybe you are a bit okay with your aptitude skills, but remember, there are technical rounds, there are GD rounds, there are presentation rounds, there are HR rounds, and please make sure your skills are sharpened. Here comes the importance of a structured coaching program. And when you go for the coaching program, please make sure you go to a good coaching center where you have the right kind of people to deal with. That means people with enough experience and exposure who can support you till the end, who can teach you all the basics very thoroughly, and who can give you good number of exercise to do, maybe clear, maybe to do with maybe problems you can solve. They can give you the shortcuts and everything. And the second thing, if you go to a very structured training program, maybe a center, you have complete effective usage of your times with a structured schedule, where you will have classes on these days, and on this particular day we will be completing your mathematics and reasoning, and on a particular day you have a mock interviews. So make sure you have a timetable and you have good people to deal with. And if you go to a good coaching center, they will provide you with books, they will provide you with handouts, and you will have direct contacts with the trainer, where they can give you some inputs to maybe some easy methods to clear your doubts. And the company, the place where you can get, where you will get a lot of tests also, practice test, mock test also. And these people, if you're at the right place, these trainers and your resource people, they will explain the methods and the strategies to adopt to clear an aptitude test. And your mock test, they will give you the answer keys, and they will explain you different methods to clear once, to solve a particular problem. And so make sure you are there, and these people are ready to give you round the clock service. This is where, as a service provider, CGP Career Avenues can help you in a bigger way. First of all, we give students stress-free and a friendly atmosphere, so that they feel very comfortable with us, and they don't even feel that they have been trained for a competitive exam, whether it is a GATE exam, because we have GATE programs, ISRO scientist, SSC junior engineer, and believe me, those who have joined for this GATE ISRO program, this placement training is absolutely free for them. because we don't charge anything extra from the people, those who join for GATE exam. Because GATE, as you know, it is a conceptual clarity test, which will help you in a bigger manner in order to crack the product-based companies and your core companies. And we will give you train you on cons, reason in English, and we will give you specific training on coding skills for IT companies. Put it this way, when Infosys comes, there is a pseudocode test. So we will train you on pseudocode also. When it comes to Wipro, and there is another test for testing your syntax, writing the codes and all other things, spotting the errors. So different companies, they adopt different technology. So we will train you on resume preparation, interview skills, GD, or the presentation round. And there is a separate round for technical interviews also. Whether you are a mechanical engineer or you're IT engineer, if you're going for a mechanical company, we have a dedicated team to train you on your mechanical subjects, just like we have an IT team also. And then we arrange, once all these rounds are completed, we arrange one-on-one mock interviews with HRs of reputed companies in India, and they will spend you like 15 to 20 minutes with you. They will assess you in and out, and they will give you feedback also. And just like I mentioned you, when a company comes, comes with a specific recruitment process, we will give you inputs also, and we will inform you the notification published by these companies also. So this is how we support our students. And tomorrow we are going to start one fresh batch as far as the placement training is concerned. And we have a huge discount and offers for those who join for tomorrow's, those who register for tomorrow's training program. And we have starting from, I think, 3 or 3:30, we'll start the session for 1.5 hours. And we will either deal with cons or reasoning or English. So if you join tomorrow, you have special discounts, and we have a separate program for coding skills also. Those who are looking for Ideathon, Hackathon, Gameathon, we have an exclusive program for all those people, those who are looking for coding skill, complete coding skills, whether you want to crack SOTI or you want to crack Google. So we have a complete program for those companies also. So that is a different program altogether. But as far as other companies are concerned, we will cover the entire basics of coding also for major companies. And the technical training I was speaking about, that is an entirely different program, where we will be dealing only with maybe C or CPP or Java. And you will be an expert on all those subjects and topics. So this is our contact numbers. If you want to know the fee structure and the kind of discounts for those and early bird schemes, both for both the technical training, placement training and GATE. And in the long run, like they said, the GATE is going to help you to a larger extent, because GATE can help you in all the technical exams. And once you are proficient in your aptitude modules also, and you can crack almost all the exams happening in India. So this is the first one is my number, and the second number belongs to our academics director, Professor Ashwin. So please, either you can message me or Professor Ashwin, and we can tell you, we can send you all the fee structures and the discounts you are going to get if you are going to join, if you're ready to join tomorrow's class. And once you message us, we will definitely send you sample classes, videos of our sample classes also, so that you will come to know the quality of our classes. And once you're convinced, then you can take a call. We don't straight away push you for taking a seat with us, or maybe booking a seat with Career Avenues, so that we will give you 100% everything under the sun. So once you message us, we will send you, or we will give you a sample class video through which you will come to know the quality of our classes, both your technical papers and your aptitude papers we will send you. Along with that, we will send you the price, structure also. And then you can take a call. And by paying a nominal amount, you can attend tomorrow's class. I think if you pay 1,000 rupees, you can attend tomorrow's class. And once you're convinced, you can continue with continue attending the classes. And nowadays, the classes are happening only in weekends. We don't conduct classes, whether it is GATE, ISR, or placement training on your during your exams, during your class test. So we have a specific timetable for that. And we have a group where all the students and faculty members are there. We will message you on these days we have classes. Are you guys ready? So if your exams are happening, there are no classes arranged. So that's all from my side also. So guys, I have sent a feedback form to your chat. Please fill in the chat, feedback form, through which we'll come to know the exact requirement or the exact program that you are looking for, maybe the service you are looking from us. And thank you guys. Thank you for the participation. Thank you for gathering here. Now it is your turn. The questions are, yeah, definitely. Please, message. We'll try to send you a recorded version, but I don't know. I need to talk with the team who can send you this the recorded version of the webinar. But on the other hand, thank you guys. Thank you very much for participation. Thank you very much for attending this webinar. Please, now the session is open for questions. Yes,
So
now
there are
it
a
is.
couple of questions which have been asked. Let me just start
Yes.
handling a couple of
Yes,
them.
yes.
Someone asked, what is a good site to practice tests? Honestly speaking, I would be very, very careful because there are very large number of sites which have questions to which they share. But I've seen that many of the sites do not have either complete questions, or there could be errors in the question, errors in the answers. There are people who have answered those questions as well, and they are not necessarily correct. So don't rely on any free site. There could be some good ones. I can say that, but my request and my suggestion is don't go for free sites as much as possible. Try to go in for good quality sites. I'm sure the mocks are not very expensive out here, so you could look at that, but ensure that at least you've got the best quality answers and the explanatory answers provided to you. Secondly is, I'm sure even your colleges may be having some databases of tests which have been asked in the past. The only thing is that they might not have solutions for them. So you could do that as well. A very large amount of past questions are floating around in the market. Because I'm in this particular field, I get a large number of them myself, but I find tons and tons of errors in them. So I don't really trust much of the stuff which is in general floating around on the net. So my simple recommendation, try to go for a website which is a paid website, which is doing something of good quality, where hundreds and thousands of students are registered. Don't mind paying that extra 500,000 rupees that you might require to get a good quality set of questions. Yeah. Rohit, something on engineering, design, product design, someone was asking.
No, they were asking about web design. So I guess it's, just, so there are websites like fiverr.com or those kind of companies where you can pick up freelance projects. So maybe you can pick up a few and start working on them.
As far as learning is concerned, there are quite a few number of these websites which are there where you can do these courses for 200, 500 or 1,000 bucks or something like that, your Coursera or your Udemy, etc. So you can take up, courses there. Engineering design, product design, etc. Yes, there are courses there online, but there are a good number of companies also which are hiring it. So L&T has a separate company which is for engineering design, Infosys, TCS. All of these companies have requirements in the engineering design space, and they
no, he wanted web design, front-end design.
Shaktivel asked about engineering and product design.
Okay, sorry.
Right. So you have the engineering design from L&T, the L&T IES, Industrial Engineering Services, and so on. So those kind of organizations are there. They are looking for students with a pretty good technical skills. So if your technical skills are strong, try to do a couple of certification programs. Definitely try to build something with your hands, because that is going to be the most important aspect as far as product design or an engine design company is concerned. If you have not done projects where you have built, like typically mechanical engineers get into building of some kind of a race car or something like that, try to do stuff like that. Not necessarily everybody gets to build a race car. You can build something else, but get on to making something with your hands and put that in your CV so that you can reach out to those companies. Even if these companies do not come initially to your campus, they conduct a lot of off-campus drives, and write to them if you have the necessary set of skills. They will definitely look you up. Yeah. Any other question people can ask, please?
Yeah, so one person, I think Azhar Moidu, he said he has some supplementaries due to medical reason. Can he get a good placement? So I can only say that a lot of companies ask for students without supplementaries. But having said that, if you can learn certain skills, either on coding or on the course side, you can always look at off campus. It is slightly difficult, but yes, you can get, but it's in your hands. You can't expect somebody to get you a job.
Softwares that a civil engineer should learn. So I think there are lots of softwares which are there, which you're expected to know. So I don't need to tell you. It's a part of your curriculum. The only thing that we find is that people are not as accustomed to them or as familiar with them what is required. They only basically learn those softwares sufficient enough to pass the practicals, the vivas, etc. Make sure you do that, whether it is some kind of a CAD/CAM kind of software or anything in testing, etc. Make sure that you're learning the best quality softwares and you're learning it very, very well. All of those are huge requirements, whether it is mechanical engineers or civil engineers. Definitely the CAD/CAM softwares which are there, the best ones, they all are very, very useful and they can get you good jobs. You say something about freelancing. What do you want me to say about freelancing? I mean, I've done a whole lot of freelance work my life. I can tell you that even Rohit has done freelancing work uh, right through our college, school and college for that matter. And that was the way that we built our CVs, because or for that matter, internships, including maybe an online internship. Uh, any work that you do, see, don't think about, don't try to see, okay, whether the word internship needs to be there on my CV or what is really going to be the most important thing that people are looking today. Do anything that you are going to get an opportunity towards doing, where you're going to employ some kind of skills that you have, may not necessarily be your technical skills, but where you're working with people, where you're trying to solve problems, and put that on your CV. Everything carries weight as long as it is uh, you have put in effort and you have done something. Honestly speaking, even if you're teaching 9th, 10th, 11th standard kids, if you're teaching your juniors in a good environment, that also is going to add value to your CV, because there's going to be a talking point. When I see someone who says, okay, I've taken tuition classes for 9th and 10th standard students, I definitely ask them questions on what kind of tuition did they take, what did they learn from it, what are the kind of challenges they faced, and so on. And that becomes a little bit of the talking point as far as we are concerned. So do any kind of work which is something that you can put on your CV as work experience uh, related to your technicals or not.
And just to give an example, like my cousin did his engineering from Kerala, mechanical, and I think for 1 or 2 years he didn't have a job. So he came to Bangalore. He worked in a call center for 1 year, and within that 1 year, he got a job abroad in the Gulf, and he's selling industrial valves. So his experience in the call center where he was selling products became very important, and his mechanical engineering was important because it's a very highly technical product. So he's been in the Gulf for almost 10 years now, and his call center experience really helped him get that job there.
Someone is asking for fresh industrial engineers. So I'm assuming industrial engineers, you're talking about production science or production engineering.
Yeah.
The scope is huge. Honestly, if you ask me, the scope is huge, but then you have to be good quality. There are very large number of industries where you could get. There are also colleges like IIT School of Management or NITI, NITIE in Mumbai, where you could do your industrial engineering management program. There are a lot of other colleges as well. So you could acquire any of those skills and you do well. The scope is good, the money is good, but not for everybody. It is only for the good quality candidates that, who will really do well.
They can also join a design school like IIT School of Design or any of those NIT kind of thing, where they can get into industrial design. So they can work with automobile companies, with all their industrial electronics companies, all of that. So there are a lot of design jobs that are coming up. But yes, if you are interested in that, if you have a good flair for design, you can consider some of those engineering design jobs.
And some of these fields you'll find also lots of opportunities outside India, like for chemical engineers, for industrial engineers, for mechanical engineers. There are also lots of opportunities which are there outside the country. Obviously, for IT, there are options, but now there are enough jobs in India, and the chances of going abroad have become far lesser as a percentage. But in all the other skills also, you can definitely get opportunities to work abroad or even to move abroad permanently. Applied electronics, does it provide good career option? Any field, whatever you are in, whether it is an engineering field or a science field or a commerce field, the answer to your question is, if you're good at what you're doing, it's a great career option. Okay, there's a market for everything. There's a market for biotechnology, there's a market for geology, there's a market for anything and everything, as long as you are good at it and you can show it to the world that you are good at it. So if you're specifically asking for instrumentation engineering, I can name at least 50 different companies which are looking for talent at this point of time. Are you good enough is the question. The scope is tremendous, and all of these things are the future.
And just to add to what Amit said, is it a good job is not a function of how much money am I making as salary. Okay, so there are some industries where you start at a low salary, but then it picks up later on. So, for example, in IT industry, they'll pay you they'll pay you a good salary at the starting, but then your hikes will be less. Whereas in manufacturing, your salaries may be low, but once you get that experience, your salaries go up very exponentially, if you can say that. So don't compare with others. Focus on what is it you want to do. Right. If you focus on what you want to do and don't worry too much about what others are saying, then you'll have a great career. Right. So in my case also, I wanted to work in textile. I'm a textile engineer. So I had chance to get into IT, but the textile job came first, and I was unemployed for 6-7 months after I graduated. And I said, whichever job comes first, I will take that. So I got textile. I got to textile. I did very well there. And in fact, when I had my first appraisal, my first salary hike, I was earning more than people in Infosys who had joined 1 year before me. Right. So it doesn't matter about the initial. So don't look at the initial salary. Look at your career in like 5 years or 7 years, 10 years down the line. Is it something you feel you see yourself doing over 10 years or 5 years or so on, right? So look at that, and once you get the skills, then your salaries will increase according to your skill sets.
Any scope of MBA after graduation? MBA has always got scope. Again, engineering from any college you do, a good college you do, you're going to learn a lot. But as far as MBA is concerned, you should aim for the good colleges. So when I say the good colleges, you have the top 10 or 15 or 20 colleges which are considered very good in India, and then you have another 15 or 20 colleges which are considered good colleges. So yes, MBA has a great demand and you will do well in a career option, but try to be there among the top 30 to 40 colleges or top 50 colleges in the country. Don't go below that.
So we are nearing the end of our session. Thank you everybody for such a wonderful QA session. Thank you Amit sir, thank you Rohit sir for addressing all these queries. We have rolled out our feedback form, so do fill in all your queries there. Now to conclude, I invite Director, CGP Career Avenues, Mr. Ashwin P. Chandran, to conclude the session. Please, sir.
So, dear all, we had an excellent session by our dignitaries Thank you, Rohit sir. Thank you, Amit sir. Thank you, Rajesh sir. So, dear students, as our speakers have pointed out, you have got lot of opportunities. It is up to you to make maximum use of it, irrespective of your branches. If you are good in your branch, any company will be happy to hire you. The biggest mistake students from Kerala or generally commit is they go for last minute preparation. Just not say no to the last minute preparation. Start from day one. Best time is today and best time is now. So start preparing now at the earliest. And CGP Career Revenues have an extensive plan to help you out. We have an integrated GATE ISR or bar coaching with placement training also. We are the only one company where HRs of reputed companies give one-to-one mock interview and give you feedback based on that. The HRs of not of small companies, they're of big MNCs. They'll be giving you one-to-one mock interview and give a feedback on that. Our placement training covers aptitude, verbal, reasoning, GD interview, one-to-one resume building, corrections, career counseling, also technical C. All the placement programs have this technical element in it. So whether it is IT based or product based, service based companies, all this will have this placement in C programming or any programming languages. Will make you thorough on that. Also, we also do one-to-one interview to back this. So make use of this opportunity. Students can join for our GATE program, which include placement training program also. You can also join our placement training program, which includes C programming and GD interview. And some students who don't want to go for placement training, you can join for our C program alone. And those who want to join for one-to-one interview training and resume preparations, you are welcome for that also. It doesn't mean that you have to undergo a program to get placement. Okay, you can definitely undergo your own system to get placed. But let me assure you, I think more than 90% of our students who are undergone our training with us are placed in reputed companies. It is based on our constant, monitoring system, and we do lot of practice tests. We conduct lot of mock tests, pattern training for all the companies like Infosys, TCS, ETS, and all. So once you practice and there's a ranking system, be more than sufficient to crack these jobs. And the support CGP, Career Revenues, and national organization. So we have a centralized system in Mumbai where Amit is collecting questions of all reputed companies whenever they are doing recruitments across India. And that question pattern is available in the centralized way. And when students undergo this practice, it'll be really, really useful for them to crack the test. So we are very much aware about the latest pattern. Also, we don't guarantee any job. Nobody can guarantee job, but we equip you to face interviews with much confidence than ever before. Okay, so join this placement training program or integrated GATE coaching program. Any student interested to join can WhatsApp us also. We'll be happy to support you. New batch starts tomorrow and another batch starts on next Sunday. So they're always happy to support you. So thanking each and every one of you for your patient listening. May God bless one and all. Thank you.